Today's video, we are going to cover answering services, reviewing answering services themselves for your business to answer your phone when you cannot answer your phone, why you do not want to use an answering service for your business as it's not going to make you nearly as much money as if you just answered the phone yourself, or hire an outsourced person, which I have a very good strategy to hire an outsourced person for around $1,000 a month that's going to be able to answer the phone perfectly every time, or basically speaking, and as a result of that, not get a good chunk of your calls missed, not answered, and as a result, you're not going to get the advertising return that you're looking for any advertising you're driving to your landing pages or to your website to make your advertising campaign successful at the end of the day. Answering services, the main key things that are the issues with them is people expect that they'll answer the phone every time. That's something I can tell you from personal experience in a case study that we ran on 5 different clients that we have at our advertising agency that use answering services, and I wanted to do this as a way to make a case and prove that they don't want to use an answering service anymore. They don't answer the phone, which is one big thing that they don't do. At least they try. The reality is something different. The other thing that they don't do is they don't patch through the lead every single time. They answer the phone, which I understand why. I used to work for a call center. A lot of times you just don't give a fuck. You're getting paid $10 an hour. You're not going to punch the lead into the computer so that the lead gets over to the client. Therefore, not every single lead that comes in, you're going to get notification of it because they're hiring boneheads to answer the phone. They're basically little, minimum wage people that don't care if they get fired or not. You can't get good work out of somebody who knows they can quit and get another job for the same pay rate tomorrow. And certainly if you have people like that, you wouldn't hire a person like that yourself, yet the answering service hires that type of or caliber of person and gets you in that situation. The other thing that they do is they act very unprofessionally when they answer the phone. They are rude, which I've heard that. I hear, they're totally clueless. What do you want? Oh, okay. And then if you ask any kind of question at all that should be able to be answered, it's clear that it's an answering service right away. You could be like, what's the general pricing? Oh, I don't know. We'll get somebody to get back to you. Well, why don't you bet you're in that situation, you're basically better off having a robot answer the phone. So, and the reason why people like answering services because they don't want to pay an employee to answer the phone because that's so-called expensive. They don't realize all the loss that they're taking on the advertising leads from all the, basically holes in your sales funnel now. The leads don't get closed at the same rate they would be if a human answers the phone. And for that, you don't want an answering service to answer the phone, at least if you're spending any reasonably good, any kind of serious money in advertising to get traffic to your website, because you're not going to actually save money with that. And for that matter, I can understand why answering services don't deliver, a good service, and it's true across the board. Because I've seen, I have the personal luxury of auditing calls that come in from clients' advertising campaigns, and the ones that use answering services see how the calls are getting answered, why it is like it is. What can you expect? A lot of people don't think about this. When you hire a service and you're paying XYZ, you got to think about the economics of that business. You can't think, oh, that sounds like a great price. I'd love to pay. No. How is this business able to deliver this service at this price? If it doesn't make logical sense, you're just fooling yourself. And they're going to deliver a shit product because they know you want a cheap price and the joke's on you, basically. At $50 a month for a answering service, how are they going to offer a good service for that price? Yes, you may think, oh, they only got to answer a few calls, and then that person that they hire to answer my calls can answer a bunch of other people's calls. But then there's overhead. So realistically, they got to be paying, for that $50 a month, they're paying in terms of employee costs, $15. That $15, by the time they pay the taxes on that person's salary and everything, you're getting 30 minutes worth of employee time at the end of the day for that $50. by the time where the rubber meets the road, 30 minutes worth of talk time isn't going to be enough to get you a good job. Between all the training and the money is not there. Now, that said, I do know there are answering services that cater to like lawyers and stuff, and they charge several $100s a month. But at that point in time, which is the reason why most of the answering services don't charge it, people say, well, I could just hire an employee for a little bit more. And that's what you're going to ultimately do. Instead of paying $400 a month for a quality answering service, you could pay $1,000 and get a full-time employee. Obviously, you're just going to pay the $1,000. The $50 a month is going to get you what you pay for, and you're going to lose, per what study we ran and what I'm coming to you with in today's video, you're going to lose 20-30% of the value of your leads just by having them sent to a subpar answering service, just by doing that. So naturally, in some cases, if you're a 24-hour business, I understand you can be somewhat logical to send calls to an answering service between midnight and like 9 a.m. or whatever itself, because hiring an employee for the 1 or 2 off calls you might get or that you get overnight per month, I understand that. But anything else besides that, it literally just basically doesn't make any sense. But with that said, according to the math that I've done, you could spend, if you're spending anything more than like $3,000 a month on advertising through Google Ads or whatever you're doing, assuming it's bringing in calls and it's working, you'd be really kicking your own ass, essentially, using an answering service to answer your incoming calls, and especially for Google ads, Google search ads, because it's really easy to mess up the call when it comes in. Given if you don't handle that call just right, they're going to call the next person in line. You don't have a second crack at them, so to say. And people have fairly high expectations because of all the other perceived choices that they have on Google. If you're spending more than $3,000 a month on ads, which means you're probably driving $15,000 at least worth of revenue off of that $3,000 worth of ad spend per month, you're not going to save money hiring an answering service over an actual employee that you hire, or a contractor, which is the better route, or one of your main other routes that you have, which I'm going to talk about that I would recommend for most small business owners to actually use. Like I mentioned, for $1,000 a month, you can hire somebody for 40 hours a week to answer the phone. Either in some, stay-at-home mom in, middle of nowhere, Midwest, answering the phone for you, and which is one way to go. I don't necessarily like that option too much because necessarily they can lose that job and kind of like not be too upset about it. A better option for most of you guys would be to actually go on Upwork or another freelancing site and post that you actually would like to hire somebody to answer the phone and that you're paying $1,000 a month, and say, if you would like to apply, all I need is a voice sample with, reading out this basic script for 5 to 10 seconds. Go through 100 or 200 of those applications, find the one where they have the least, where they stumble over the words the least and have the least accent, which will sound basically like an American, even though they're overseas. It's good enough to fool somebody to think it's an actual American, and you got somebody that will work 40 hours a week, appreciate the hell out of you giving them a job, and will then as a result, do it for the next 5-10 years for you. And then as a result of that, because you actually got somebody who will stay with you and not just stay for a while and then jump ship, and they're constantly job hopping, you can train them on answering the basic questions. So unlike the answering service that you're using now or thinking about using, which can answer no questions, basically speaking, they can answer all the questions the salesperson would basically ask. Even though they might not be good at sales itself, they can answer some basic questions. Because a lot of people, when they call, they're going to want to know, what's your basic pricing? And as soon as they can't get that, it's going to be click, and they're going to call the next person in line, and at least they're not going to, they can keep that person on the phone long enough to get the salesperson on the phone, and you don't lose the sale, if you will. But with that said, I wanted to run an actual case study to see how much it's actually costing our clients that are using answering services, so I could show them why you don't want to be doing this. Because this is a little bit of a personal vendetta that I have as well. I hate calling businesses that are using an answering service. The person is so clueless that answers the phone. Literally speaking, it's almost better than nothing. It'd almost be better to have nothing than that answering service. But then again, with that said, also, guess what? When the client runs an ad campaign and they don't make money, their cash register doesn't explode, which is what they're expecting me to be able to do for them, they blame me and the advertising. And reality is, half of it's just phone handling, lead handling. I want to be able to just, when I see someone's using an answering service, I tell them up front, hey, if you use that answering service, expect 30% less money right up front, or X% less money, and know that going in because I have the information to back it up right away. And take that part of it out of the equation so that I don't get blamed, at least for that part. And so anyway, what we did is we took 5 different clients in CallRail, which tracks all incoming phone calls from our ad campaigns, took 5 companies that use an answering service, or either all of their calls or part of their calls, like off hours basically, which most of the people is doing that. But you'd still be better off hiring a full-time person to answer the phone off hours too, for what, as you will see by the data here. But basically what we had here, in terms of the numbers, what we found was, first of all, was 94% of the people, of every call that came into the answering service as a whole between these 5 clients, when we tallied it up over a 90-day period on each, they only answered the phone 94% of the time. So 6% of the calls right away, gone. Or those leads and the advertising money that you spent and the sales resulting from those calls is now gone because they don't even answer every single call like they're supposed to. You got calls going into a call center at an answering service. That call routing, now there's a delay on the call. A lot of times all the agents, because they don't have, it's expensive to have people sitting around, aren't going to be able to answer the phone when all the agents are busy. So, and then technical glitches, letting it ring too many rings, all these reasons, they don't actually capture every call. So that's the first inefficiency in using an answering service. The second inefficiency is you don't even get the leads, which is the most insulting part about all of this. You're hiring this company to answer the phone, and then they don't even tell you somebody called. I mean, it's really a kick in the balls if you think about it. But of the 94% of people who answered the phone, those calls itself, only 89% of the leads, the client got a notification. That's the ridiculous part. I never thought it was going to be that bad. I knew for a fact that clients have told me that they didn't get the leads that the answering service was getting. And I could hear the answering service pick up the phone, but they never got the lead on the client side from the report that was sent through to the client. So right there, you're basically losing about 15 to 20% of your ROI or revenue from your ad campaigns that you're running, sending them to an answering service. So literally speaking, going back to what I was saying before, if you're spending at least $3,000 a month on ads and you're generating at least $15,000 a month in sales revenue, if not 20, 30 grand a month, and you're losing 15% of that, let's say you're making 20 grand a month on that 3,000, that's $3,000 a month worth of revenue you're just losing right off the top by using that answering service, which, as I mentioned before, for $1,000 a month, you could actually get someone to answer the phone 40 hours a week. And obviously there's more than 40 hours in a week, so you would need to hire 3 people. Well, 3 people would be $3,000 a month using the method that I told you about to find your own person. And now you're at break even. So therefore, that's where I came up with this number of $3,000 a month as to like where the breaking point is, where you're literally not going to do yourself any favor at all using an answering service versus just hiring a real contractor or employee to answer your phone because of the inefficiencies in the answering service itself that you're always going to have. Obviously, there's cost to hiring the answering service itself, obviously, as well. That I didn't even add that into the equation, which is obviously not that much, but just saying that's to be considered technically as well. But but there's more though, right? That's just what they miss or what they don't communicate to you. Then you also have the calls answered unprofessionally. How many sales are lost because instead of getting somebody saying, hey, thank you for calling XYZ company where we value service, versus somebody answering, yes, can I help you? Yeah, sure. Let me take down your number. Obviously, those different situations there, you're going to end up with a lot more business with this situation versus this. How much are you losing? It's hard to quantify that exactly, which I could have did a more in-depth study, but I want to say that you're going to lose another 10-20% of the sales you're going to get with the one versus the other, just from the standpoint that, and I know because I got clients who do answer the phone super fancy like that, and it helps a lot. It's impressive. If you're going to get 3 or 4 or 5 quotes and you get someone who answers the phone like that, you're like, wow, I didn't get that from the last guy. And you're going to be more likely to go through the quoting process, and more, even if the quote's a little bit higher, you're going to be more likely to go with them because you're going to have, as they say, first impressions are important. It's the most important thing you got for people to remember you by. So, you might be losing another 15% of the total sales from your ads from that, and you add it up, you got a 30% drop using an answering service versus a nice, cordial, well-trained person picking up and answering the phone every single time. There's many ways that you're going to lose or have inefficiency in your sales process using an answering service. Even if you don't have $3,000 a month in ad spend, you're losing all that money. It's going to take you a lot longer to scale up to $3,000 a month in ad spend, because running your ads, the goal always is to make more money so you can run more ads to run to have a bigger company, or probably anyway, or should be anyway, because if you're not growing your company, you're just in the process of dying. That's not just a joke, it's the reality. You should be answering that phone yourself until you're spending at least $3,000 a month because of your money you're throwing away and the time that you're wasting to get to the point where you are making the real money in your business running these ads. Bite the bullet, answer the phone yourself, make all of the money, not 70% of it. Then, after you've done that for the first 6 to 12 months and you've built up your ads using the techniques I talk about on this channel, then hire your people, your foreign help, train them up, and then you're going to have to not do it anymore, and you're going to get all the money permanently after. That's the real smart way, the only smart way really to go about doing things. What people that I see that really pisses me off the most is I see them using answering services because they don't want to answer the phone themselves. They don't make enough money to hire somebody to answer the phone for them. And as a result of that, the user experience is shit. I don't want to go to Google, type in cleaning services Phoenix, call somebody up and get, hello? Oh yeah, let me take down your information. That really pisses me off. And I know what it is because I'm dealing with this stuff all the time. It's an answering service. I don't want to deal with that. Just like you don't want to deal with when you call the bank to ask a question and they put you through and make you go through 10,000 freaking hoops to get to somebody. Nobody wants that either. You don't like it, yet you want the customer to do it in your business. So, in other words, you're just being a hypocrite at that point in time. But it's with everything when it comes to advertising that I see anyway. The business owners that I deal with, I love my business owners, but they don't want to do more for the user to have a better experience in terms of what they see and get in the initial sales process or marketing process and advertising that they see. Yeah, as a person who wants to look up stuff on Google or find stuff online, they want to be able to get certain things done. So what they want out of other businesses, they don't want to provide in terms of information up front to their users. And you really, it is hypocritical. Ultimately, when you're, in a certain suburb and you're searching for cleaning services, you don't want to see the name of your overall metro area in the ad because you don't know if they cover your local area. Well, this is universally true in any local service market, yet 99% of people that run ads don't want to say the name of the user, the suburb that the user's in, if they're searching for that suburb. Whereas every single user wants to see an ad with their name of their damn suburb in it. And same thing on the landing page. So, that benefits me because I know what the user wants and what the businesses that I'm competing against up front aren't willing to do. I just simply do what the customer wants. Google then wants to promote me than the other guys because I'm helping their users out more than anybody else. Therefore, makes the people that see my ads more likely to click on ads in the future, even though the ads they click on in the future probably aren't going to be as good as me. I make all the money because I know what the user wants and what people aren't willing to do. But the people could do it, but they're just too damn lazy to do it, or they just don't realize it. But for the most part, it's just apathy. They don't want to help the user do what they want. Even though they would want it themselves as a user, they just don't want to do it for the user because they're apathetic about it. So anyway, answering services are just one component to this overall macro trend of business owners wanting to do the bare minimum and make the maximum money by doing the bare minimum. You simply work harder than your competition, you'll win by default, and it's easy to do that. Because what the user wants, it's not a secret. It's on this channel. I tell you exactly from our user studies what people want. You either do it, you make all the money, you don't do it, and you don't make the money. It's really up to you. So anyway, with that said, I'm going to wrap it up with that. If you have any questions, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a question or comment on this channel, usually within 24 hours time. If there is any channel that you want to subscribe to, it's this channel that you want to subscribe to, as I have all the winning strategies that I find out in my 40-hour-a-week job of doing testing of certain ad strategies online on Google, Facebook, and so forth. If there's any channel to subscribe to, it's this one, because I give you real information as a result of being actively involved in it, whereas most of the channels you're going to see on YouTube or other information online, it's people giving you second, third, fourth hand information. They're not really running ads themselves. They're banking on you thinking they do so they can sell you that course, make money off of advertising revenue. I'm running an advertising agency and I'm in the thick of it doing the actual strategy 40 hours a week. It doesn't get any better than that in terms of real information you can use to make millions of dollars running ads for your business online. So therefore, you should subscribe if you haven't already. You can also find my blog at guaranteedppc.com/blog, where you can find step-by-step instructions to execute proven strategies that are proven to make money time and time again for your business that you can literally bolt onto your business starting today, with screenshots, with the whole shebang. If you like the channel, you're going to like my blog as well, so you should also check that out. If you don't want to do any of the heavy lifting, you want to just have the results, you can simply pay our agency and we'll execute these strategies for you. That's what we do at our agency. Guaranteed PPC is the name of our agency, and we can actually guarantee results for your campaigns. That is, if we say we can get you at least this much results with it up front, that is this much profit or this much increase in profit based upon what you have now, we will not charge you a fee unless we could do that for you up front. It's our signature offer. The catch is we got to obviously know we can get great results for you to agree to work with you, so we don't take on just any client. But if you want to see if we can work together, reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com. I'd be happy to give you a free assessment to see what the possibilities may be of working together here at our agency together. As a side, though, if you're not looking to work with an ad agency, but we've worked in your niche market before, and we've worked in over 100 different niche markets in the last 10 years of running this advertising agency at Guaranteed PPC, you can use the exact winning ads, landing pages, keywords, campaign templates, all of it that work for your niche market in a different geographic area that you're in. Copy and paste all of that into your account and get the same results we have that we built up many times over years to get the results that we are, and can tell you what results we're getting with what we're doing in a different geographic area, so that if you buy the templates, you would already know what results you could get with it for yourself in your area as well. It's way smart to do that compared to trying to test everything we had to do, because it's way cheaper and less time consuming ultimately to do it that way. If you were interested in that, you can also reach out to me at my firm at guaranteedppc.com. We got people using these templates to start other businesses. It's like having a business on training wheels, basically. Whether you want to start a lead generation business, sell leads that you're producing super cheap with the template that we have that's been optimized over years already in a certain market, or to sell a product that our client's selling in market A, you're in market B, it will easily also sell in market B that you could easily get from China or whatnot. If you're interested in any of those opportunities, reach out to me at my firm at guaranteeppc.com. But with that said, I'll wrap everything up with that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.